Hello, everybody. My name is Adam, and I review things. I review music and books and podcasts and plays and movies and television shows. And today I'm going to be reviewing the 1952 classic "Singing in the Rain." So, probably everybody knows about Singing in the Rain. It's one of those movies that kind of exists back in the consciousness of everyone who's ever watched a movie before. And I never actually saw Singing in the Rain until yesterday. And I don't know why, because it's such a joyful movie. Um, the movie doesn't really have any mean spiritedness about it. There's one character who is clearly, um, she kind of bears the brunt of everything that happens in the movie, and she's kind of like, she's a bad egg, so it kind of makes sense. But she's also played in such a delightfully kooky way that you can't be mad at the movie for treating her that way. And the dance numbers are just so great. Like they're full of tap dancing and enthusiasm. And Gene Kelly, of course, is probably one of the greatest people to dance in movies before or since. That didn't really make any sense, but he's really, really good. And I don't know why tap dancing kind of fell off and was seen as not popular anymore and kind of old fashioned because it's such a demanding art, you know? And the routines that they do in this movie probably last 5 or 6 minutes. So to get those steps down perfectly probably was a huge production. And another thing that I really liked about the movie was that it's not afraid of colors because the plot of the movie basically is that there's this famous actor and famous actress, and they're really big in silent films. But of course, the talkies come along with a film called The Jazz Singer, and then everybody wants to have movies with sound. So the 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 flaws of the lead actors. There's a guy, actor, and an actress, and so Gene Kelly stars as Donald Lockwood, and Jean Hagen stars as Lena Lamont. So uh, Lockwood and Lamont are like these classic big screen couple, and they're in a bunch of movies that people really love, but they actually can't act. Lockwood, the guy, can't act because he doesn't he doesn't have any technique, and Lena can't act because her voice is really bad. She has a really bad accent. So the plot of the movie is how do they transition into movies where people can actually hear them and movies where they have to actually act. And the love interest of the movie is played by Debbie Reynolds. And she plays this woman who is like a real actress and she takes her art seriously. And they have this great scene, Kelly and her, where her character is basically berating actors. And she knows that this guy is like film actors, and she knows that this guy is a famous film actor. So it's just great. And the other part that I liked, oh yeah, I didn't talk about the colors. So um, this is a movie from 1952, and it's referring to only about 30 years ago when the movie was made, from the time the movie was made. And when we think about those black and white movies that were made in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, we think that they didn't have any color because they were in black and white. But you see the costumes of all, and I think that they probably went a bit over the top because color also was a new thing in movies at the time in 1952. They maybe went a little bit over the top, but it's great to see like, gangsters in yellow suits and like showgirls and like bright green costumes, and it's great. And I think nowadays all of that stuff would be very, very muted because maybe the 1950s went a bit too far in loving color, but I think that we've also went in the opposite direction. And I think of a movie where I really liked the everything about the movie. It's my favorite musical, Chicago. But if you look at the costumes, they're so modern, you know. There's not a lot of color. And the movie is like dark, right? Because it's about murders and all of that stuff and crime in Chicago. And you can see the connections between that musical and some parts of this Singing in the Rain. And it's, there's a part, I think it's called Manhattan Melody or something. There's like a long section at the end where the guy goes through different sort of songs and different environments. And one, he's in this nightclub with like a femme fatale kind of character played by Debbie Reynolds and some mobsters. And she's wearing like this green kind of outfit, and the mobsters are like wearing tuxes, and they're like, they're flipping coins and stuff, and they have this bit where they're flipping coins. So it's completely not realistic, but it has influenced generations of people when they think about music and musicals in movies. And as I said, it's just so joyful. There is a really long section. I didn't mention Donald O'Connor. He plays Cosmo Brown, and so basically, Lockwood and Brown were this sort of vaudeville act, and when movies started, Lockwood was the main actor, and Brown would provide like mood music to the people when they were acting to get them in the mood, and that was his job. So I guess that was a job that people had. Yeah, but anyway, he does this big number. So they're vaudeville performers, right? So they're like tap dancing and doing like this great number. Two numbers stand out especially. One is Make 'em Laugh, and he just, like, I think he's trying to be funny, and I think maybe audiences at the time might laugh more than I would, but you have to really admire the guy's manic energy. Like, he's going this way and that way, and he's doing all these tricks, and he jumps through a wall, and he has like this section where he's dancing with a kind of, not a mannequin exactly, but it's like a clothing kind of a body for designing costumes and stuff, and he's dancing and lifting her up, and like, oh, he falls behind the couch, and they have this thing. It's like really great physical humor. And then later, Kelly and him have a scene where obviously they need to learn diction and elocution because their voices are going to be heard on film. And you have this like bit where I don't know what it's called, but it's basically the elocution coach says something kind of ridiculous, and they repeat after him, and they do this like manic dance where they like take him and they put him in different places, and they jump behind the bar, and they dance and they dance and they dance. And there's probably never been a movie like this before, and I don't think that there will be a movie like it again, because even like there was this fad of having like dance off movies in the late 90s and early 2000s, like Step Up to the Streets and all of that stuff. And the dancing in those movies is always constrained by the plot. Nobody just randomly dances, and nobody is as manic. They don't have like the dance moves in those movies are much more modern, but they're not as manic as this tap dancing, this like crazy energy, and it's really, really good, I think. And I miss that in movies. Another great thing about the movie is actually Jean Hagen. So as I said, she's playing Lena Lamont, and Lena Lamont is like the typical stuck-up starlet, but her mouth, when she opens her mouth, she has like this really horrible accent, and it's like a mockery of sort of like a New York accent, but it's like even 10 times worse than that. And she does such a great job of playing that character that, you kind of hate her, but you just want to see more and more and more of her. And yeah, I don't know. I think like some of the numbers maybe don't hold up as much. But the numbers that do hold up, like Make 'em Laugh and that one with um, the elocution coach, they really carry the whole thing. It's vibrant. It's like one of the most joyful movies you can imagine. So I would recommend, if you're feeling depressed or down or whatever, watch this movie. It will really help you feel better about life. And yeah, Gene Kelly is like he's playing this sort of film star, and he doesn't have the looks to play a film star, but he has the charisma, right? And clearly he can dance. So, and it's just great watching them dance in unison. Yeah, I don't know much about Gene Kelly, and you know, maybe there's some dark secrets I don't know. Probably I'll watch more of his movies, but we'll see. All right. If you like my reviewing of different things, I'm trying to have 100 subscribers by the end of Christmas. I have 98 right now, so I think that's quite doable. I have a Patreon, so you can check that out. It's kind of like a role play Patreon. If we get 50%, well, if we get anybody to sign up for the Patreon, 50% will go to the charity of the patron's choice. Yeah, and maybe just recommend some Gene Kelly movies or musicals that you think I should watch for this project. All right, thank you very much. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye. Make 'em laugh. Make 'em laugh.